Hello, and thanks for checking out the student examples, final project, final submission. I put this PowerPoint together to go over just what previous students have done when it comes to thinking about the final project. And I've also included, since you're reflecting on a module as sort of a source for the direction of your photographs, I've included the module and the category, the genre, all of that information, and then the artist and the name of the module. So basically there's lots of helpful information in this slideshow. So let's get to it. So first example, a student did a series of art for commerce fashion photographs, and the student was really interested in the concept of quality of light and thinking about different times of the day, different types of light, cloudy day, late afternoon, kind of like indoors but outdoors. So really looking at where do you place your model when you're thinking about the quality of light? The student was really inspired by Annie Leibovitz, and you can find information about her on the composition and design artist list. The student was really interested in the concepts from the white balance and time of day module, and so they did a series of fine art landscape photographs. They were inspired by Jessica Backhaus from the High Key, Low Key artist list. So beautiful landscape photos right here in the Bay Area. The student was really influenced by the manual mode module and learning more about long exposures. So they decided to do a series of fine art landscape photographs inspired and kind of leaning on the type of images that Michael Kenna creates. And so you can find more information about him as well. And so these are kind of like long exposures converted to black and white. The images were made pretty much like right after the sun sets. And they were made in South San Francisco, not too far from where the Giant Stadium is. So really, these are all great inspirations of places and locations that are right here in the Bay Area. These are painting with light. So again, another example of really relying on the manual mode of your camera, using bulb, having a tripod. And these are these light spheres. You can look up how to make them. They're just made with different types of lights, flashlights. And so it's kind of a cool concept. And the student decided to point towards fine art photography and kind of urban landscape. So these are made in the train yard, I think outside of San Jose. And they were inspired by the artist Mike Mandel. So one thing to think about, let's just go back for a second. So Mike Mandel, if you look up his work from the composition and design artist list, he didn't do train photographs with these orbs of light, but he did do a lot of long exposures that were kind of painting with light. And so you don't have to, the photographs that you make do not need to match or perfectly reflect the artist that you research. Like, I just think it's so important to learn about all these great artists and look at their work, since they were applying these concepts of 10 keys of composition, thinking about lighting, challenging the traditions of photography. So I'm just kind of putting it out there that you don't necessarily have to make photographs that are exactly like the artist that you pick. Here we have quality of light, art for commerce, and then the subcategory is food photography, inspired by Richie Etzkite. High key, low key, these images were inspired from that module. And the student put them into the genre of fine art photography and the subcategory of portraiture, and then took it a step further and noted that these were examples of low key. So the more information you can include, it's helpful for myself and your classmates. And this student was inspired by Zanel Juoli. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Really wonderful artist that I introduced to you from the High Key Low Key artist list. Some examples of, again, being inspired by or reflecting from the manual mode module. These are fine art urban landscape, inspired by the work of Simon Norfolk. These are kind of like a little bit longer exposures during the day. So just a little bit of the cloud movement that happens sometimes in San Francisco. And then just looking up, and so a lot of graphic shape and form composition style. We had the cool learning unit about creative sustainability, and so this is looking at documentary environmental photography inspired by the artist Ansel Adams. White balance, we talked a lot about time of day, white balance, and so these are, again, art for commerce car photography. And so Easton Chang is a photographer who focuses on automobile photography. Very lucrative career if anyone is interested. And these are just, using available light. Here we're kind of reflecting from the module of contemporary Black photographers. The student is looking at the work of Roy DeCarva. And if you look at Roy DeCarva's work, his work is very different. It's black and white. It's not kind of saturated colors, but the student was really inspired by his work and so decided to make these kind of documentary style, urban, environmentally conscious landscapes. And so it's really, you have a lot of information to be able to title your work and put it into a specific category from what we've covered in this course. And you can definitely turn in black and white or color photographs. So this is inspired by the module, the history and time-based media module that we covered. And they were really into Robert Frank's photographs. And so they decided to do some photographs that also are heavily inspired by the compositional conversations that we've had. But he wanted to do street, kind of documentary street photography. Here's kind of a compilation of images inspired by Katie Grannon from the Bay Area artist list. And again, documentary street photography. The student kind of put the work into fine art and wanted to create a new category, people, places, and things. And this was inspired by Du Bois from the Contemporary Black Photographers Featured Artist List, and really looking again at composition and design for these photographs. And it's a really great also triptych, which, you're more than welcome to do a triptych or a diptych as well. These are some really beautiful diptychs where we're also looking at kind of art for commerce, lifestyle product photography, which is another lucrative business as a professional commercial photographer. This is inspired by Albert Watson, a really interesting commercial photographer from that composition and design artist list. So thank you for viewing. I hope this information is helpful. I really look forward to seeing your final submission photographs for this project. And of course, keep me posted with any questions. Thanks.